But we're starting with Trump's #1 tariff advisor, Peter Navarro, who has done it again. After painting India as a land of snake charmers that buys Russian oil to fund war, after mocking our Prime Minister in saffron meditation, he has now picked up a caste metaphor to attack India. Peter Navarro said Brahmins were profiteering at the expense of the Indian people. That single word, Brahmin, has shocked many because there is a context when you use it for India, isn't there? And Navarro is no fool. He knows caste is one of India's deepest battlefields. It is quite likely that someone advised Navarro that one of India's many Netas who pretend to speak for the Bahujan could pick it up and run with it and create domestic pressure on the government, the way one prominent Neta mindlessly echoed Trump's Indian economy is dead charge. Remember that? Well, to my great surprise, and I have to be very frank with you tonight, viewer, no Indian Neta has actually run with Navarro's Brahmin attack. But something even more telling and pretty embarrassing has happened. At least two members of parliament, two members of the Rajya Sabha, who you would think had better things to do with their voice and public funded salaries, rushed to clarify on behalf of Peter Navarro. They told us, one of them even lectured me, that Navarro is a Boston man and therefore must have meant Boston Brahmins, an Americanism that denotes the elite, and that Indians are stupid. Indians like me are stupid to think that Navarro was indulging in a casteist slur meant for India. Well, these Netas not only have their priorities upside down, in my view, they probably would climb over their own loved ones to provide cover fire to anyone scoring points against Modi or his government. And while they think that they sound educated and elite and lofty and enlightened, explaining the semantics of Navarro's use of Brahmin, they gloss over the fact that the very use of the word was meant to patronize and to trigger India. Peter Navarro was speaking about India and to India, and he knew what he was doing. Social justice pretenders will no doubt label me a Savarna fascist for even pointing this out. But this is not a caste debate. This is about Trump's chief attack dog escalating the tone of his campaign against India from racialism to casteism. The Indian government has wisely refused to oxygenate Peter Navarro's bile, but leave it to our disconnected, deracinated, imaginationless opposition, or a section of it, to rush to explain his insults to us unwashed masses as if that is the issue. 78 years after independence, the Brown Sahib is alive and well. And Peter Navarro's boss, the US president, has just fired his latest shot at India, appearing to be in response to Modi's presence at the SCO summit. Trump has doubled down on his tariff. It's another wine fest where Trump says India does big business with us, but it is a very one-sided relationship. He claims that there is a trade imbalance. He's once again sounding like a stuck record. Trump says that India buys a lot of oil and a lot of weapons from Russia and not from the United States. He says India has offered to cut tariffs to nothing, but it is getting late. It seems like Trump is scaling down his attack. There is no more disrespect in this particular attack, but he seems to be running out of patience, or at least signaling that the window for negotiations between India and the United States is closing. But he provides a little bit of an opportunity there as well. Well, today's debate is not about Trump because, like I said, what he's put out on social media right now in response to Modi's big win at the SCO is something that pales in comparison to the very, very hostile things that have been said both by Trump himself a few days ago, but now chiefly his top advisor, a person who I'm describing as an attack dog because he's doing all the attacking on India, very specifically has been enlisted to do that, is Peter Navarro. Joining me live now to talk about not just the attacks, not just the use of the word Brahmins profiteering from the Indian people, but also the kind of shameless defense and cover fire provided to Peter Navarro by a section of the Indian opposition. I'm joined tonight on India Matters by Dr. Anand Ranganathan, analyst, best-selling author and commentator, Charu Pragya, spokesperson of the BJP. I'd like to start, however, with Touseef Khan, who is a political analyst. He supports the Trinamool Congress. The Trinamool, of course, has refused to be on my show, and I'm not surprised about that. Touseef, two of the party you support's Rajya Sabha MPs today found it appropriate to use their voice, their time, their agency to clarify what Peter Navarro was saying when he said Brahmins are profiteering from the Indian people. Two Rajya Sabha members of the Trinamool, no less. Do you think that was a good use of their time?
Well, it is totally their prerogative when the entire media is talking about it, and especially you yourself had posted it on the X platform.
Yeah.
Then why not them? They also have the equal right as you.
Apart from the fact that they're wrong and they're public representatives
wrong
and they're
right
parliamentarians.
See, to me, right or wrong is very subjective. See, to me, India has been buying cheap Russian, cheap. No, please.
The priority for both these MPs,
Anand,
I don't even want to take their
Anand
names because it will contaminate my show. But I'm saying both these MPs, Touseef, no disrespect to you personally, you know that. It's no disrespect to you, Touseef, personally.
No, why disrespect to anybody?
I have nothing but contempt. I have nothing but contempt for both those MPs. Let me be frank with you. Let me be frank with you, Touseef. I and most right-thinking Indians will have contempt for someone who says, oh, he meant Boston Brahmins. Oh, he didn't mean Brahmins. Oh, he didn't mean anything casteist. You are so uneducated, Shiv, you are an idiot. You should read more. You are part of the BJP ecosystem. That is what two members of parliament of the party you support have spent today doing. Touseef, that is the reality of it. You can talk about prerogative, but that is what two MPs today have done. Provide cover fire to Trump's attack dog while he is insulting India with racialist and casteist slurs.
Shiv, we know that Trump is a good buddy of Mr. Modi, and we know that Xi Jinping attacked India just few months ago, which caused in Operation Sindoor. Therefore, Modi shaking hands with Xi Jinping, who was attacking India, who our Indian army has gone on record and said that they were helping Pakistan with live data.
But why are your MPs giving cover fire to Peter Navarro?
Because I am saying at in the end of the day, what matters is we have to look for our interest, the interest of our nation.
That is fine. All that is fine, sir.
And that is where I'm coming to.
But Touseef, all that is fine.
No, please.
Let us assume I agree with everything you're saying. Let us assume I agree with everything you're saying. Why are two MPs supporting Peter Navarro and providing him cover fire? Please answer that.
Navarro talked about...
And they are not even right about it. They're sounding like idiots.
No, let us use the term Navarro used Brahmins. And what Saket Gokhale and Miss Sagarika Ghosh was referring is that Brahmins is actually a synonym to the rich and wealthy.
How can he be talking about Boston Brahmins, sir?
Rich and wealthy of Indian are profiting from importing Russian cheap oil. What is false in it? It is
so you're not offended
correct.
By it? You're not offended by the use of the word?
Correct.
You're not offended by the word?
Shiv, please give me uninterrupted 1 minute. We are buying cheap crude oil from Russia from a long time.
I'm talking
but
about
the
language.
benefit has not translated into the the pockets of middlemen.
I'm talking about the language that has been used.
It is the rich who is pocketing the profit.
I'm not getting into the rights and wrongs of Russian oil. I have fact-checked that till kingdom come. I am talking about the choice of language used. I want to keep this specific, Touseef, for obvious reasons, because this is a limited time debate. I am saying the choice of the words used when it comes to India. Peter Navarro is no fool. He has chosen to use a word that will trigger Indians, that will create divisions in our society, and two members of parliament of the party you support have thought it fit to give him cover fire. Please explain that. That is all I am asking.
What is the context in which Peter Navarro was talking? He was talking in the context of India buying cheap Russian oil.
So you're okay with
it? And who is benefited? The petrol is at 110 rupees. petrol price has not gone down. It is not the middle class who's benefiting, it is the rich who is
slur is
benefiting.
okay. A casteist slur is okay.
Rich corporate house who is buying cheap price
Forget
from
all that.
cheap
Casteist slur is
petrol
okay.
and processing
on
it and
NDTV,
exporting it to Europe.
Touseef, on
Reprocessing it in refinery and selling it to Europe and profiting from
I
there.
understand that you would like to dance around the issue, but you're not addressing the nub of the issue that I'm asking. Here on NDTV, unlike on many other channels, we talk about all of these things that you're talking about. You can ask Anand, you can ask Charu. We call out everyone. We call out big oil. We call out government. We call out failures of the BJP. We call out failures of the Modi government. You can ask Charu. We always ask those questions. I am saying today that the use of the word Brahmin by Peter Navarro and the cover fire and defense provided by two Rajya Sabha members of Indian Parliament is one of the most shameful days for India. Anand, am I right to be offended?
I'll give you one more example. Hollywood Mughal.
I feel
we always refer to Hollywood Mughal. Does that
I feel like I need
Mughal,
a shower
Mughal,
today.
What does Mughal
I feel like I need another shower today with what has happened by two members of parliament giving cover fire to a man who is using racism and casteism to attack India on this issue. Anand, you go.
Good evening, Shiv, and good evening to my fellow panelists. Look, seeing the imbecility and ignorance, frankly, for a minute, one thought Rahul Gandhi has loaned his advisor to Donald Trump. First, their dead economy concurrence, when India is in fact the fastest growing large economy, posting highest ever Forex, exports, PMI, GST collection and Sensex, and now bringing in the term Brahmin. If it was an attempt to inject casteism and prop up internal fissures that Rahul Gandhi has been doing, I'm sorry it failed. Because none of the backs stuck with these dartboards are Brahmins but rather OBCs. And if it was meant to convey elitism and the elites profiteering from Russian oil, this couldn't be further from the truth. Let me explain very briefly. Number one, India has saved $26 billion over the past 3 years by choosing Russian over Saudi oil. Not just because of discounted Russian oil, but also because increasing our procurement of it has lowered oil prices in general, saving us money for the rest of our oil procurement. Without that, our inflation would have risen cumulatively 1.47% beyond its actual level in those years, helping the poor and the disadvantaged, not the elite. And as for those wondering why those savings haven't reached consumers directly, no government, whether Congress or the BJP, ever does so. Why the fuel industry? Given because the price drops since this sector funds public programs, it's a revenue source, Shiv. The profits and savings collected by the government here feed a fund that's tapped whenever it must provide hundreds of billions in aid or support across sectors.
What is the price of petrol, Anand?
100 million toilets originate, or those roads and health insurance.
What is the price of petrol, Anand?
Now, one second, I'm just coming to that, Touseef. I did not interrupt you. Number two, the Indian government has directly earned upwards of 5,000 crores from Reliance and Nayara as windfall for exporting refined Russian oil. The people who have profited from buying Russian oil are not elites, but ordinary Indians. And this is where, in its
how ordinary Indian? What is the price of petrol? Please say what rubbish you're saying.
Trump and his trailer trash band of illogical illiterates. Modi should be congratulated for not surrendering to a bully like Trump, but standing up to him and buying Russian oil, because this step has helped us. In fact, we have now increased
70 price has reached 110 and Modi is helping poor.
If we secure the level of discount for the next year that Russia offered 2 years back, 24%, we'll actually neutralize the damage anticipated from these 50% Trump tariffs projected to be 0.3% of GDP by Goldman Sachs. And finally, 30 seconds, just to rub it in. We should levy a 2% duty labeled as blood tariff on EU and the US, since they are funding the savage conflict in Ukraine, where civilians die solely because the EU keeps importing 3 million tons of Russian iron and nickel, 18 million tons of Russian LNG, 8 million tons of Russian oil. US keeps importing 3.5 million tons of Russian fertilizers, 435 tons of Russian uranium, and 1.1 million tons of Russian oil processed in India. So yes, the only thing...
What is the price of petrol? Simple question.
Enough to say, but even Rahul Gandhi has better advisors than Trump.
Price has increased to 110. How does it help poor? How does it help poor to increase the retail price of petrol?
Have you not been listening? If you were listening to me, rather than
when Modi
do you not understand
the price of
What is wrong with you? Is the debate on petrol prices today? Can I please come in?
Yeah, Charu, please come in. Charu, come in.
Yes, I'm sorry. I think Touseef Khan has completely misunderstood the topic of the debate because he thinks the topic of the debate is discussing fuel prices in India. No, Touseef, today the discussion is that an outsider uses a casteist slur, uses the word Brahmins like a slur, and the echo chamber is created not in Washington, but here in Delhi. Not by an outsider, the slur is repeated, but we found justification within India by people who sit in our parliament, who represent our people. Now, I'm going to, Touseef, very politely request you not to speak over me because I have waited for my turn to speak.
I'll come to you,
And
Touseef.
I
We'll
would
finish.
answer you.
basic decency from you. May I please speak? Thank you.
Yes, go on,
Charu.
then I'll answer. Yes.
Continue, Charu. I'll come to Touseef after that.
Thank you. See, here what Navarro says is insulting, it's bad, it is a slur, whatever it is. He cannot handle racism in his own backyard. He wants to lecture India. All of it is bad, I understand. But you know, Shiv, what is worse? The worst thing is that we have Indians who sit in our parliament, who are hands in glove with people who want to bring down India. That is a problem. And then we've got these apologists who come on national television and they justify it. That is a very real issue. So when the opposition has a chance to speak for India, what are you doing? Are you standing tall on an international platform, or are you using every single platform to bring India down? That is a question of worry, because these insiders are the real enemies and they don't even understand what the whole fuss is about, because you could be fighting Modi, you could be fighting BJP, but in the end, you're fighting against India.
Now, Shiv, I would like to
I'll give you
Shiv, I would like to address this question.
I have a whole...
Let Charu finish. Let Charu
had
finish.
your turn. You've also spoken during Anandji's turn. Now let me finish. I actually listed out every single year that Congress or opposition leaders have spoken on the international platform and what have they talked about. Today, Modi ji is talking about India's strength in China. What is the Congress saying? They're calling India spineless. 1 year back, let's move back. Washington, what did Rahul Gandhi talk about? That the real issue in India is whether a Sikh is allowed to wear a turban and go to a Gurdwara. What kind of a statement was that? He received backlash from every single Sikh in India, I assure you of this. Before that, he went to Cambridge and he said, our democracy is under attack only because he's not winning elections. He's not winning elections for these very reasons. Because he keeps parroting statements which are completely false. Even today, he's parroting a statement claiming that even people internationally are saying it, wherein nobody is. Nobody is interested in anything that he's saying.
I will show you.
He said the same thing.
I will show you.
No, Shiv, I would like to come in. Shiv, allow me to come in.
Touseef, go ahead. Touseef, go ahead. After that, I'm going to show you.
No, you are giving legitimacy to the rabid attacks which are coming India's way. You understand that? Every rabid attack comes India's way.
Let
Touseef speak, Charu. Then I'll come to Anand.
Now, Shiv, all of us in this debate today, all four of us are well-traveled people. So today, if we do not acknowledge what really the Boston Mughal means, then we are only lying. I'll give you two examples. One, Kolkata is called Makkah of football. Does that mean that they're talking about the Makkah in Saudi Arabia? No. That is how we refer to a term. Secondly,
example.
we also say movie.
Come on.
He used the word Boston Brahmin.
I have not finished. Movie Mughal. I have not finished. I did not interrupt you. No, Charu, you have to let me finish.
Secondly, I completely disagree. It's a very disingenuous example.
No, please. Very, very commonly and very popularly we use the term movie Mughal. Do we then refer to Aurangzeb?
Very bad example. Very bad example.
Similarly, reference
Brahmin
to
Brahmin is not a word in English, sir. I'm sorry. It's not a commonly used word in English.
Reference to rich and wealthy. That's all.
No, it's not.
And wealthy
no, it's not.
In India,
no, it is not. He was talking about India.
Cheap Russian oil. As simple as that.
It is
you
not
want
as
to make
simple
it
as
complicated.
That. It is
so
not.
That you can
this is whitewashing.
Boss in India. That's so
you are
absurd.
getting into bed. You are getting into bed with a man who is attacking India. You are okay with a casteist slur simply because he is scoring points against the Modi government. You are not being able to distinguish between the BJP, Modi and the Indian state. That is the problem of the opposition right now. That is the problem of the opposition.
The fact is,
you are whitewashing Peter Navarro and Trump because of the things they said. You've given them a license to insult and disrespect India because you think it doesn't matter. Chalo, theek hai, wo Modi ko attack kar raha hai. All this is Saat Khun Maaf. That's what this is. Anand, rebut.
No, very quickly. First of all, can I please request Touseef, my good friend, not to interrupt when others are speaking? We were completely silent when he was speaking. These are bad manners. You know, your ancestors were Brahmins, Touseef. Please learn something from them. Now, couple of things out here.
Brahmins in the sense
Let us
what
give
rich,
the
yes, I
benefit.
agree.
Now again he starts interrupting. अरे भाई सुन लो थोड़ा सा यार.
Brahmins in the sense rich and wealthy, yes, I agree.
Please don't
Otherwise,
embarrass yourself. अरे सुन लो यार Touseef, please don't embarrass yourself. Number one. Shiv, 2 points. I already explained to him. Let me deal it a little bit more easier. Perhaps he could not understand or comprehend simple English. In the time of COVID, when oil prices fell to zero per barrel.
Scientists
Shiv,
like you is giving English lesson.
Touseef, let Anand finish. I'll give you time.
Anand, a great scientist like you is giving English
He's
lesson.
not here to
fair.
Touseef, let Anand finish. Let him
interrupt.
make his point. I'll come back to you. Don't interrupt him. Anand.
Yes. So during COVID, when the oil prices per barrel fell to zero, were the fuel prices per liter of petrol also zero? No, they weren't. As I'm trying to explain, the petroleum sector is used to generate and save revenue that can be used for welfare schemes. So it is not directly passed on to the consumers. It is saved for the consumers, and those millions of toilets and tap water connections to a lot of other people are then
Why
passed
did
on. This is
Gadkari say 30 rupees
now
petrol?
again. Shiv,
I'm reminding you, Nitin
Touseef, let him
Gadkari
finish.
talked about
For
30.
God's sake, let him finish. He's making a point. I'll come to you. We've got more layers of this debate. Yes, Anand, finish your point.
Yes, thank you. And in any case, even if you were to give benefit of the doubt to that semi-literate, meaning that he meant Brahmins as elites, I have already explained. The profiteering has not happened. The profit has been generated and the profit has been used and taken by the government in tens of hundreds of thousands of crores to the tune of lakhs of crores. And that is the profit that is now being used for welfare schemes, for putting tap water connection to people like Touseef's houses, for giving him gas cylinders. So it is nothing to do with elitism. It is to do with Dalits, Adivasis who are benefiting from this. So even if you were to give this jackass a benefit of the doubt that he was actually meaning elites, he is wrong there as well. By jackass, I meant Peter Navarro, not Touseef.
So what Anand is saying, Touseef, what Anand is saying is not only is it insulting, but it's also dishonest and factually incorrect. Forget about it being insulting and disrespectful and casteist and racist and all cultural profiling, etc. It's also totally misinformed, and that's why Anand even calls Navarro a jackass. Touseef, final comment, then I want to go to the next step of this debate with the three of you.
Anand is saying that the money is saved or profited from the cheap Russian import of oil is being distributed to the poor, but he's not citing any data, he's not citing any report, he's not giving any, it is his opinion, and it based on his own.
How is that his opinion? That's ridiculous. Come on, there is data.
I am asking a simple fact.
Inflation has
BJP government promised cheap petrol, they have not delivered their promise. When Modi became Prime Minister, the petrol price was 70 rupees.
Okay.
Now it is 110 rupees. And now he's saying, oh, I'm using the money for welfare schemes. No, we don't buy that lie. For welfare schemes, you have that top secret fund. The Prime Minister's fund.
Does West Bengal tax petrol?
The details.
What is the excise tax?
In the time of COVID, you
Why do you tax petrol?
You collected Prime Minister.
Why does the West Bengal government have 20%?
Touseef, answer that very simple question that Anand is asking. Does the West Bengal government tax petrol or not?
Profit is being used.
Why does the West Bengal government tax petrol?
We don't buy that. Only Anand will buy it.
No, this is a very silly rhetorical argument you're making, and you're finding an off-ramp saying that there is no data to support it. This is ridiculous. This is clear as day. But I want to, let me just, since I'm running out of time, with the three of you, I want to take another question. Whether it is Prime Minister meeting Xi Jinping, whether it is Shehbaz Sharif being snubbed, whether it is the three leaders actually holding that very important meeting, if you take each one of those three things, Charu, I'll come to you and then I'll go to Anand. You've had the opposition say, no. Shehbaz Sharif was equidistant from Xi Jinping, just like Modi was. And Shehbaz Sharif was also met by Putin. And that, no, the Galwan Braves have been insulted by this entire rapprochement between India and China. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because foreign policy achievements, in my view, should be beyond politics. And it is anything but if you look at today. Charu.
Shiv, that is the sad reality of the Indian opposition. Instead of focusing on Bharat's win at the summit, what are they focused on? The Pakistani Prime Minister. That is where their heart is, and that is why it's aching so much today, because Pakistan has been sidelined. What other explanation can there be? Because on one side, we have a leader who stands tall for India, brings back diplomatic victories from India from every single trip. And on the other side, we've got the opposition, which is taking potshots at India itself for their petty domestic politics. Why don't you keep your ghar ki ladai in your ghar? Why do you need to create this whole drama which actually undermines India on the international platform? Because that is exactly what the opposition has been doing every single day, Shiv. And now it has got to a point that it is annoying every single Indian. You know, it has actually gotten to that point. Because if you are focusing on Sharif on a day when India is getting a big win in China, then something is really wrong with your mentality. And I really don't understand how are these leaders defending it. I want to say this to Touseef Khan also. Touseef, you are a very reasonable kind of a person. Coming on television today and trying to whitewash a slur which was against India is terrible. When it comes to your country, stand united. What is wrong with our opposition? I think something is really wrong with the kind of leaders we have chosen from the other side to represent us in parliament. क्योंकि उनके नाम के बाद ना member of parliament
Also,
India shouldn't be
I would
there.
like to come in
It
now.
doesn't
No,
suit at
Touseef,
all.
you can
Let me
respond.
answer that.
No, Touseef,
Let
you
me
can
answer.
respond.
No, outsiders can
I'll
Let
tell
me
you.
answer that.
I'll give you an
Outsiders
independent
echo
view
their
also.
sentiments, Touseef. That's my
Shiv,
problem.
Shiv, Charu,
No
let me
amount of water
answer
can
this. Let
sink
me
any
address
boat
this.
Touseef,
I have understood
unless
your
it
point.
gets inside the boat.
I've heard you now.
All
Let
of you
me.
are that enemy water getting inside India's ship, trying to sink the ship. That's the
Okay,
problem.
now let me answer this.
No, but
Let me answer
Touseef
this. You are
also,
defending.
Touseef, I just
Once
want to say
again.
one thing. I just want to say one thing before you answer. You know, there is more than enough subject matter to criticize the government when it comes to foreign policy. Why does the opposition use the most juvenile, puerile attacks? Like say, no, Shehbaz Sharif was standing at the same distance from Xi Jinping as Modi was. Therefore, he was actually being honored. It was not a snub. It's a failure of Modi. Why can't we
Shiv,
have more substance than that, boss?
Shiv, just because we want to defend our Prime Minister, we cannot turn blind to what is actually happening in front of our eyes.
Sir, I am saying don't trust
once
China.
again,
I am
once again,
criticizing
Shiv,
the Prime
I'm not
Minister.
finished.
I am criticizing the Prime Minister. I am saying don't trust China.
Allow me to speak. See, on one hand, when there is President Trump imposing tariffs on us, our Prime Minister is saying that I have taken a stand. I'm not taking his call. I'm not talking to him. Why? Because Trump is imposing tariff on us. And on the other hand, when we know that China attacked us just few months ago, I am going and hugging Chinese premier. I am shaking hands with Chinese PM. Does that show my foreign policy?
So you want to launch nuclear weapons at China?
Prudent person will say that this is a hypocrisy. Prime Minister
It is
does
the
not
hypocrisy
look
of the
in front
opposition which
China.
has asked for normalization of ties with China.
Looking weak. Prime Minister is looking weak in front of China when he goes on and hugging and shaking hands.
I
when
will
only
be honest
2 months
with you.
ago they were attacking India.
I will be honest with you.
And on the other hand, this is the same Prime Minister.
I will be honest with you.
I will stop talking
Anand,
to Trump
Anand,
because
I will give
Trump
you the
has
last word.
increased the tariff.
Anand, I will give you the last word, but let me say this very honestly. I say don't trust China. I criticize the manner in which India is engaged with China, and everybody on this panel knows it. But I will still say the Modi Prime Minister at SCO today has radiated strength, not weakness, by engaging and establishing India's autonomy, sovereignty, and independence of foreign policy. It has radiated strength to the most powerful country in the world at a time that when they have been historically attacking us. And you see this as weakness. Anand, final word.
You know, whatever people might say, and I say this with all responsibility, I deal only with facts. You know that, Shiv, the last week, the Prime Minister has come out spectacularly. That's the only word.
Yeah,
we have negated the bully. We have shown him his place. And by bully, I mean Trump. Nothing is normalized between China and India. Obviously, it can't be. We haven't solved the disputes that we were engaged in for 60 years. To expect them to be solved in the next 6 months is foolishness. We've not, this was an optics, this was a magazine cover. Trump can see Putin, Modi and Xi Jinping together. Now, let me deal with facts. As for those, just 30 seconds, Shiv, those who call Modi has surrendered. I'll give you the facts of what surrender actually means. During the UPA 10 years, the trade deficit with China ballooned from $1 billion to $37 billion, an increase of 3,600%. During the
UPA is
UPA, it
over.
was Shyam Saran, the UPA secretary, who said India has given away 600 square kilometers. In fact, Shiv, that was your scoop.
Yeah.
600 square kilometers of eastern Ladakh to China. And the third surrender, there were 300 incursions by China during the UPA, some as deep as 28 kilometers into Depsang. This is what I call surrender. This is an absolute smashing victory.
It is a smashing victory. And you know, Touseef, I will take the anchor's prerogative by having the last word with your permission and only say one thing. You know, when the Depsang incursion happened under the UPA government and when the UPA attempted to normalize relations with China at that time, you would not have found a journalist more vocal than me supporting the government at that time. I said,
Yes.
normalizing with China, demonstrating strength. The BJP was shouting from the rooftops at that time, saying weakness, weak UPA, weak Congress. And I said, this is what strength is. To stop a war, it's easy to start a war. It is very, very difficult to stand up to a bully, get them to get out of your territory, and then deter them from coming back in. That is what strength is. And that is what stopping conflict is. That is what independence is, that is what sovereignty is, that is what standing up to an aggressor is, and that is what the Prime Minister has actually done. So I will bring this to a close today by only saying that the opposition has no shortage. Let me repeat, I am willing to advise. I will tweet about this tomorrow. I will give you 10 points. I will give you 10 talking points to attack the government.
Advisor.
From Pahalgam to Uttarakhand to Arunachal Pradesh to SCO to Trump to tariffs, I will give you all hundreds of talking points to attack the BJP. Charu knows I'm not lying. I will give you substantive issues to criticize the government, but please don't waste public representative time on these puerile, silly point scoring against the government, because Indians are watching and they are not buying this. We deserve a substantive and strong opposition when it comes to issues of national security and issues of foreign relations. So thank you very much, Touseef, Charu and Anand. Always a pleasure. The three of you are my friends. Thank you very much for your time and for being with me on this debate.